Greetings Hex and Counter players, and welcome to my look at Campaign Series Vietnam, the Battle of LZ Albany, 17th of November 1965, or the 2025 New Guys Introduction to Campaign Series Vietnam Remastered Edition. The original game was released on January 20th, 2022, and the remastered version was released in February 19, 2025. Now the game is in a constant state of update, and in fact has had 3 minor updates since the introduction of version 2. There is an excellent boot camp series to get the new player up to speed, and these have been well covered on the web. So I thought, to give you a taste of the game, it might be interesting to see a scenario in action and how it plays out from a new guy's perspective. So let's see how I go after completing the boot camp series, which I recommend to you. Let's have a look at the scenario info. LZ Albany, Pleiku Province, South Vietnam, Side A, which means the Free World or United States. HIS stands for Historical, and it was designed by the Campaign Series Legion. With the 1st 7th Cavalry helicoptered out of the landing zone X-ray, the battle had ceased. The other 2 cavalry battalions, 2nd 7th and elements of the 2nd 5th, were tasked with leaving the area as the Chu Pong Massif was designated to be hit by multiple B-52 strikes. Both battalions meandered along a trail to landing zone Columbus, which was also acting as a firebase for the defence of the landing zone X-ray battle, where 2nd 5th would continue to LZ Columbus and 2nd 7th would take the West Fork in the trail and sweep the area towards the La Drang, with the intention of being helicoptered out from landing zone Albany. As the 2nd 7th Cavalry began entering landing zone Albany, a couple of NVA were captured. While the interrogation revealed little, elements of A Company, 2nd Battalion, 7th secured the landing zone while the remainder of the battalion waited along the trail. Shortly after, all hell broke loose as the alerted NVA 8th, 66th and 1st 33rd Battalions had manoeuvred into ambush positions and assaulted the American column. Using lessons learned a couple of days before at landing zone X-ray, the NVA companies were intermingled with the American lines, effectively nullifying support from the air or artillery. And this was the famous by the belt tactic used by the VC. After pressing OK, we get to the Setup New Scenario screen, and as we are in learning mode, we're going to select No Fog of War. OK. So the SMEAC, the Battle of LZ Albany. Now that you have cleared the area, the B-52 strikes can work their magic on the Chu Pong Massif. While that happens, you are to take your 2nd 7th Cavalry Battalion and hump towards LZ Albany. Sweep the area once the landing zone is secure and prepare to be helicoptered out back to Pleiku. Friendly forces, your primary unit is the 2nd 7th Cavalry, but you have artillery support from LZ Falcon and LZ Columbus. These batteries will provide you the necessary cover to accomplish your mission. Enemy forces, stragglers from the 66th Regiment are in the area, but contact with large forces is not expected. Mission. Your mission in this scenario is to secure and hold at all costs landing zone Albany with 2nd 7th Cavalry. Sweep the area as you await pickup. Defending the landing zone to the best of your abilities. You have ample air support and artillery support to assist. Additional reinforcements may be made available. Good luck, Commander. Political. You lose event points for indirect firing or ordering airstrikes on inhabited hexes, village, city, suburb, whether or not occupied by the enemy. Admin. Supply levels high at the beginning of the scenario, but expect them to taper off as operations proceed. Additional supply is not scheduled. You can resupply your helicopters at Ply Mai with the supply trucks available there. Command and control. Weather is expected to remain consistent during the course of the mission. Okay. 2 HQs unable to provide supply, and I'll discuss that later on. Side A phase, which is the United States, turn 1 of 12 turns. So first off, the map setup. So what I like to do is go to View and Specials on top. So that puts these specials on top, and these indicate, for instance, in this case, improved position. Moving across here, here's LZ Albany, and you see there's LZ. Now the 20 points for this objective is indicated by this tile, and if we press O we can turn that off, so we don't have to view that if we don't particularly want to for whatever reason. So the next thing is, I also like to go up to the options and I go to counters. Counter style is standard. Counter graphics I have as NATO. Also with the damage results, while you're learning the game, it's quite useful to know exactly what damage your units are causing and etc. So I've set mine to a position of center, details high, and persistent. So that means the damage result report will come up on screen and then we have to click it off. But when you're learning, it's just good to get this sort of feedback. Okay, I think that's all we really need to have a look at this stage as far as the map goes. Now, using Alt 1 turns on these labels. So this is LZ Albany here, LZ Columbus, etc. Now you can leave those on while you're playing, it doesn't really matter. I usually have them off, but that's totally up to you for whatever flavour you want. So why don't we try something a little bit interesting here. I'll select this unit for instance, and often you'll find yourself looking down the map or trying to find other units on the map. So here's some other units we have back here for instance. Then you can press the space bar and it centres, and unfortunately I clicked on there. So we can go status, find location. Now we know that we're looking at oh, there it is, LZ Albany, and so we can go back there. You might remember in the briefing it spoke about the Chupong Massif. If you want to know where that is, you can click there and you see it's this area of the map here. So using the mouse you can zoom in and out. So this area in here is this Chupong Massif, and that's our basic location of our troops there at the moment. So let's go back to good old LZ Albany. Okay, and we'll zoom in again. So there we are. So let's grab our unit here. We can even select him. This is a reconnaissance unit. So let's just talk about the counters or the icons for just one moment. Now in the top left hand corner is the strength. So that's 2 in this case. Next to this is the morale, which is 7. In the lower left it's the assault of 7, and in the right it's the defence of 9. And the NATO icon is in the middle. Now if you select the unit and then press F2, this brings up the unit handbook. So it has all the movement costs and all the miscellaneous information. This is a 1962 reconnaissance unit. There's the organisation. If you're not good at NATO symbols, you've got the NATO symbol cell, which in this case is 41. So we can go to the manual, which is F1, or this icon here. We can go to Appendix B. We look for 41. We see it's that one there, which is exactly the same as the one we have in the game. And then we look for 41 in the table below. And you can see there's quite a few unit types. And there he is there. It's a cavalry recon unit. Now, while I'm looking at this particular unit in the handbook, another area you should take notice of is this capabilities area. And notice in this unit here we have Recon AI. So that means it's a recon unit, so we can use Recon Reveal, which I hope to show you at some stage during proceedings. So that's, with a little bit of patience, you can learn these icons quite quickly. And obviously there's some very common ones. For instance, the infantry units have this cross formation, and in this case we have the 7th Regiment number in the middle there, but the standard NATO icon is a cross for an infantry type unit. So talking about units and organisation, what we're going to do is select the organisation by using the shortcut key Z, or this button down the bottom, highlight organisation Z. As you see, all the highlights come up, so this whole organisation has been selected. Now we can go Alt right mouse button, Alt right mouse button, and the whole formation moves, so we don't have to laboriously move each one across. Notice now this action point area is down to 10, which means we basically can't do anything else. When you start a scenario, you normally have 100 points, and that lets you do a range of things from moving to firing and other various options. But that organisation movement can be done in column, as we are at the moment, in column following a path, or in echelon, where we might be sweeping an area for looking for VC and caches or whatever you happen to be searching for. So that's a very useful feature. Just takes a little bit of practice to get used to it, and make sure you press the Alt button, unlike I did in the first example. Right, so as it turns out, that is all we can do at this stage. We've expended all our movement points. So now we'll hit the next turn button, this tick on the end. We can save our file. Side B, so this is the VC side, or North Vietnamese. And because I've had no fog or wall, we'll actually see what they're doing. And we're back to our turn, side A. So it's our turn now, and you can see in our boxes here we have an action of 100 points for us to take a move. So as we're playing without the fog or wall, it's always interesting to know that what units have been spotted. So let's now go to highlights, and then we can select this highlight spotted, which is S as a shortcut key, or this button. So technically speaking, we cannot see any units at all. We'll just press the K button for a moment, and then the forward-leaning backslash, if you like, I forget what you call that. If we press that, that'll give us some map information. And you can see our recon unit is actually facing a forward, the FD, PT means path, SR is a small river, and all these are explained in the manual. So we have to pay the cost of moving across the ford plus the cost of the forest hex. Right, okay, we'll select our recon unit and we'll right click across the way. There he goes, he's moved into there. Haven't been shot at, so everything seems pretty good. So what we could try, just for example, is select this one. We'll select our organisation, Z. Then we will go Alt, right mouse button. And there we go, so that saved us a lot of aggravation. And I've just noticed in the top left hand side up here there's a binoculars in the information section of the info bar here. So let's have a look what that actually means in the manual. So hit F1 and I need to find the, is it unit info box? Ah, there it is there. So here it is here on page 55. So you can see that wheel up there with the yellow streak. That means the unit has spent action points to move this turn, and the binoculars mean the unit is in line of sight of an opposing combat unit. So that is something to look out for. And just while I'm discussing this, notice on this bottom unit here, he has this radio symbol. So this unit is actually a company command post. So usually the first platoon is where the company command post is located. So the F is for fixed status, D disrupted, etc. There's not a lot there, so it won't take you too long to remember those. So that's something interesting. Now while I'm here, I'm going to select the reconnaissance unit, which I have. Then I'm going to press Control R, and that's a reveal command, or recon reveal. I just want to see if anything happens. Control R. Well, we didn't get a highlight or anything like that, and the reconnaissance unit's action points went down to 6. I guess we have another reconnaissance reveal we could try. Control R. Okay, well that's just something we'll have to try with the fog of war on later on. But Control R, I think that would be very helpful. But if when you're playing, keep an eye out for these binoculars. Obviously something is brewing when you see that. Okay, so what are we going to do now? So I've used all my points. This is a leader, so we might see if we can move our leader across. No, nope, 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 nope. So a path hex actually costs 35, and we only have 30 action points. So there you go. That's why we can't move any further. Let's have a look at these other guys. Right, so they've got the F for fixed, so they'll be released to us in due course. Rightio, so it looks like at this stage that's all we can do. I don't believe... Oh, that's interesting. So he's got a spotted as well. So can I see these guys or not? I suppose I can, but I don't think I can fire on them. Okay, so artillery. So if we go back here, we do have an artillery unit, this one here. I'll put him to the top of the stack so I don't miss him. We can press G. G usually gives you your range. I presume this guy's not online. Unless it's further out. Oops. No. So this guy in fact might be oh, there we go. We'll put an artillery mission on that guy there, just with a control right mouse button. So select the artillery unit, control right mouse button, and away you go. So this guy here, we've got another one here, so we'll put him on top of the stack so we don't forget where he is. Select the unit, deselect, make sure we've got all these ones deselected. And then control right click. Okay, and that's the end of our turn. Right, so infantry 66B firing from 4123 to 4222. Defender results, NVA rifle, no effect. No effect. Man, they're piling in. RPG, reduced by 1, retreated. Go. No effect. So then it's back to us, and on the war goes from there. Oh, they've got a artillery symbol on us. So we've got to get out of there, I think. So we'll select our infantry unit here. We'll just select one, control, right mouse button. Okay. RPG 2 reduced by 1, retreated. Excellent. So we'll grab our another infantry unit and we'll move him in. Yay for us. We secured the landing zone. As you can see, a lot of no effects. So I think at this stage we'll move as many of our guys into there as possible. Now some old timers will notice we're moving from Zoc to Zoc, but that is not an issue in this game. Oh dog, you're all wet. select these two guys. Control. No effect. Reduced by 2 when disrupted. Excellent. As you see, he's got the D up there for disrupted. Oh, we can't fire with that one. Now, we can't cross that hex there because that is the small river. Right, so we can notice there with the highlight, all the coloured hexes are where we can move to. The red line going around the outside is where our weapons can fire, how far they can fire, and the blue represents the maximum line of sight. So just because it's blue out there doesn't mean we can see it, because obviously at this stage we cannot see this guy here because we have forest in between. Just to prove that, we go control right mouse button and it says we can't see it. These guys here, 67, so he can still should be able to fire. Okay, artillery. Select the artillery unit, control right mouse button. Oh, why not? Firing unit is unavailable. Okay, that's fair enough. But these guys are still fixed, and I think our helicopters. Who are these guys? These guys are fixed. And our helicopters are way back here. They are fixed as well. So status, find. Okay. Unknown. Lucky we abandoned that hex there. No effect. No effect. RPG2 eliminated. Win for the good guys. Reduced by 1. No effect. Now for the North Vietnamese, their best tactic is to assault, so that's why they're closing in. RPG2 eliminated, that's good. No effect. Reduced by 1, good. Oh, there we go. Assault at 4123. Okay, so if we want to go map, whoops. Well, that was pretty exciting. So there you go. So what I was going to say is, if we want to know where 4123 is, we can go to the map, select this, and 4123 is this hex here, which in our case is something of an overstack, which is not a good thing to do because it just invites mortar attacks. So we've got two pretty big overstacks here. So generally not a good plan to do that. Anyway, I think you've got a general idea from my introduction to Command Series Vietnam. I might actually even go all the way through this, perhaps record it or maybe not. I don't know how much interest out there is, but I hope you got something out of this introduction to Campaign Series Vietnam. The Campaign Series has got the Cold War. The Campaign Series has a Cold War version in the offing, so that will be the next release. Goodness knows when. It may not even be this year, maybe next year. And after that, they're going to redo the Second World War version, so that'll be remastered as well. And for those of you interested in the Middle East, the Middle East series has also been remastered. So there you go. If you haven't had a look at this series, yeah, it looks quite good. If you're a WDS Panzer Campaigns player, you'll see a lot of similarities. Personally, I prefer the NATO symbols and the traditional board game look rather than the miniatures sort of look. I really think this it's a brave attempt at 3D, but I think it makes the game look a little bit underdone and cheap, but that's just my opinion. There's plenty of players who love the 3D look, so good luck to them as well. So anyway, thanks for watching and enjoy your gaming.